Alright, this is going to be part 2. This might be the final part. We might have to make a part 3. This is a, we're doing like a retrofit rebuild of an old model called a PEL 609. If you haven't seen the first part of the video, I'll put a link down below of how we, not really the testing of it, because I did that on a whole different deal. Started making a video on it and realized, okay, this is bad transformer. I have to talk to customers, see what they want to do, and then we'll proceed from there, what they want to do. So the transformer in that unit was bad. The rest of the unit worked perfectly fine, but the transformer is encased in a big block of epoxy in the base of the unit, and you can't get them anymore. This is like a 30-something-year-old unit, and so the parts for it are basically all obsolete. But this very old school design, they're very reliable units. So what we're doing now in this video is we're going to piece together, rewire up this unit inside of a new case, and we're putting in a new transformer to go with this unit. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I've kind of played around a little bit how I want to kind of do it, and I've made a few changes, not a lot, and I'm still kind of in the beginning of how I want to do this. I'm trying to figure out how I want to mount things, and I do have on this capacitor here, there's two capacitors here. We're going to they both test good. What we're going to do now to mount these is we're going to drill probably 4 holes, 2 here and 2 right there. And I've got these stainless steel zip ties that we can run through. They won't rust because of stainless steel. I got a tool that can ratchet down and cinch those up, and then we'll plug the holes up in the back with some kind of glue or caulking or whatever to block those holes off, so bugs can't get in there, because this unit is going to be kind of indoor-outdoor type of thing. He said most of the time it's going to be outside, but he said there's a chance we'll move it inside, of course, when we make changes and move things around. So I wanted to give them the option of that. And then I took the board. This is a multiplier board. It was attached to this piece here. I've unplugged it from there. I think how we're going to have, I was trying to play around how we wanted to mount this in there, and this was just kind of getting in the way, so I removed it from that, and I marked the board 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's 4 connection points on here. I also have a cheat sheet wiring that where each wire goes. This board is called the multiplier board, and then there's a main power board, which is that. I put down main power board, and I labeled on there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, which wire goes where. So that's what we're going to do. I'm probably going to position this board right there. And we're probably going to, this whole case it's a waterproof case. It's it's plastic, so it's indoor-outdoor is what it's made for. I think it's most of the time outside. But I got a plastic one versus a metal one because it would have been really difficult to mount some of these parts in there with it being metal and electronics and things touching that it shouldn't touch. So we did a plastic one. The customer was perfectly fine with that. So that's what we ended up doing there. But how we're going to probably mount these boards in here, we're probably going to drill some holes. I've got some machine bolts. I buy these by the box full, but I got a couple of different lengths of them. And I'm probably going to put these on like this, run those through, and I got plastic spacers that will put between the board and here, so that way it stands off the board and it's not metal and worry about shorting anything out. But I just got to figure out where I want to drill the holes at, because I don't want to drill through a into a trace in the board anywhere. So that's what we need to do. So I think the first thing I'm going to do for now is get these in the transformer. We're going to mount that. We're going to do the same thing that we did to these. We will drill some holes. Probably put it down like that. Drill some holes here to here. Probably maybe we'll put the capacitors like that. This does have a 12-volt exhaust circulation fan, whatever, for circulating air through here, but the guy said he's not worried about that. And these things don't get all that hot, so you really don't have to worry about them. There'll be a lot of room for the stuff to breathe anyways. But there's little holes out here at the bottom, so he wasn't too worried about that. But we're probably going to put the, let's see how we want to do this. We'll probably put this over here. Probably put like that. No, because then we're going to put the board. And then put the capacitor like that. Because when I put the power board over like that, And then the AC, where's it come in at? It comes into this board here. So maybe we'll put this board over like that. And then this right here. Because coming off of this board is where the transformer comes in at. This also ties in over here, I believe. So we also got to put the cord in there. So we figure we're going to put the cord. And here's the cord assembly that came off the old one. It has this plate on there. Don't know if we're going to reuse all of it or not, but it has some nice built-in fuses on there. So we're probably going to try to reuse all this stuff here. And we'll just, I don't know if we'll have to mount it to the outside or what we'll do. Not sure what we'll do. You can always put some, drill some holes, pull the cord out, put some external, because these are built in to this deal. This might. Let's loosen up these nuts here on this fuse holder. Nope, these are separate. So yeah, we can as long as we can. Yeah, we'll try to reuse these. So what we'll do is we'll take this all apart, and we'll use these fuse holders, and we'll put them on the outside somewhere. Whenever we go to wire up the cord and stuff, but let's get this. You need to get stuff mounted inside here. I think the first thing we need to, because the transformer and capacitor are going to be easy to do, we need to get this figured out for mounting the these boards here. But we got to drill a hole and probably put. It has this resistor on the bottom here, so we're going to be a little careful. So we might put 3. There's only so much room to drill on. Probably put a bolt here because plenty of room there. A bolt there. It's probably what we're going to have to do. So I'll put a bolt there and there. Okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going with. Alright, make sure that this might be the right one. So let's I'm going to drill like a small pilot hole first. Oh, just a little bit bigger one. Go right there. We'll go over here. This bit's come pretty worn. Let's see if I can get the next size bigger. So it's going to sit like that. Okay. I got these plastic spacers I use on stuff like this or whatever. We got a whole big variety pack of them. So I got to figure out the spacing. Seems a little shorter. It's still a combination of this and this. That's exactly the same size. So we'll do this one right here. Just a little room underneath that board. So it's going to be like that. Okay. So let's run. I'll get the next hole there, but I want to make sure that everything would line up. All right, and I'll get a nut for it. Put this on like that. Oh shoot, that bolt's a little too short. Let's go get a little bit longer one then. I think it's a little longer. A little bit longer. That's a long nut. That, and then we're just going to kind of get the nut kind of started on there. I don't want to tighten it up too much because I want to be able to move things around. Okay, I'll find the bolt to the same size that the other one was. I think it's this one. Okay, so let's put that down like that. So we're going to basically put it like this. I'll clean all this dust and grime out of it later. That. On top of that. Because there is a resistor underneath this board and it's pressed up. I want a little space between there. So once I tighten these up, the board will actually turn, lift up just a little bit. It's not resting on the plastic right now, but it'll lift up there just nice, just high enough to where it's not gonna. But I want to tighten those up once I get the rest, everything else kind of where I want it. Okay, now it's time for this board's turn to get mounted in place. Okay, so it's gonna set up like this somehow. Before we do that, let's see if we can clean this board up a little bit. And I'm going to add some solder to everything, kind of coat the things. Because I had the board up high like that. This also has an LED. Maybe we'll make a spot and we'll solder off this, put some wire on this LED terminals, and run external LED on the side of the case, something like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out when the time comes. The guy never really mentioned anything about that. It'd be kind of nice to have, though, I guess, wouldn't it? Let's go ahead and we're going to solder some wires to the back side of that board. Now, LEDs do have a polarity to them, basically. Not like a positive negative, but, well, sort of positive negative. All they are is a diode that lights up. And diodes do have a like forward reverse bias, so it only conducts electricity through one way. So, and I don't know which way that is until the time comes. Oops. Now I'm going to make this a bit long. I have a black wire. I would write one black one. I guess I can get my meter out. I can put across that diode, and I can determine which way is, black and red wire on there. So we can do that here in a minute. And then what I'll do is I'll get a black marker or something, and I'll just kind of write on just kind of color the red wire. Just put a little black line on it, so we know which one's the black wire. For the, we wipe another diode. So snip off the excess, and then we'll come over here. Sure it's on there, not touching, which it is touching right there in the middle. This case, with it being kind of, down here, it's kind of hard to get your hands on anything. Okay, so what we can do is to figure out the polarity of the diode, which way it goes. We put our meter on the diode setting, and we'll strip off the ends here a little bit. And we are going to put the board like that. Put our meter on the diode setting. If we do it right, if it, well, this LED will light up. And there it goes. You see it lighting up right there. And if we reverse it, it doesn't light up. It shouldn't, anyways. See, it doesn't light up. This way, it does. Alright, so this wire right here is our black wire for our diode. So I'm just gonna put a little coating on there, and I'm gonna put a little line right there. So I know that this is our wire, negative wire, whatever you want to call it, for the LED. Now all I want to do is I'm going to coat these connections, or just reflow the solder on them. Just to kind of reflow the solder, get nice point. On the wrong side. That was my fault. Solder sticking outside, so we're going to have to probably mount the board this way, because solder's not going to stick to those. They get some kind of crust on them that's not allowing the solder to stick. So we're going to have to, and I did on one side, not the other. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we want to probably mount the board probably like this, or like that, maybe. We need to have the board up high enough that any of these parts here aren't going to be pressed into the plastic and bending things. We can bend that one down like that. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, let's see what we're going to do. Make sure there's nothing here that we're going to puncture. So this is a nice big open spot right here. So we're going to have one spot right there. I want at least 2 bolts in this thing. So where else can we put one right there? I don't know about some traces there, so we gotta be careful there. It's pretty caked up with stuff. There's one spot right there. There's a little bit of room right here. Over there, but those are all, that's all covered up with diodes, and I don't want to put a bolt right there. Unless I got a skinny bolt. Not a skinnier bolt. I do. Awful long. I'm trying to think if I had any spacers for these skinnier bolts. I think I did at one time. Let me look here real quick. That's O-ring, that's resistors, that's screwdrivers, that's that. Well, that's we're just going to have to do with what we got. Let me grab one of these skinnier bolts. And one of these, I think these are going to work. I think the heads are just small enough where they're not going to pull through. So we could use, they're awful long, but we could use these skinnier bolts. And I do have nuts for these bolts as well, and they will go through that hole. I have to make the hole just a little bit bigger. But that might make it easier for mounting, putting a screw somewhere where there's not a whole lot of room. So if you put it right there, it might be okay. Let's just see what happens. Trace there. Yeah, you need to hold just a tidbit bigger. Let's try this. Try this drill bit. Actually, I'll use this one. That's the bit we're going to use. Okay, let's get the run this bolt through there. Put that like that. Let's get the smaller nuts out. Come on. Okay. Capacitor time. Okay, so I need to flip this board over and get to the back side here, because we'll see if solder's going to stick there real quick, and if it will, great. If it won't, we're going to have to flip that board. Let's see if we can... Let's see. Yeah, there was a coating on there for sure. I can feel it's like a waxy buildup. Not sure how well it's going to work. Okay. We're going to have to put it on the back side, so we're going to have to flip this board over. Hopefully everything lines up. Of course, the bolts are too short. Holes are going to line up, but the bolts are too short. I've got longer bolts. I got real long bolts for this deal, but we're going to have to use. Okay, I'm going to need taller deals on there. Take these off. Use these real tall ones here. See how that goes. Oh, that's perfect. So tighten those up and everything. Okay, well, we've got majority of this part of it done. Still got to get the capacitor and transformer mounted in place. So I think I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to make a part 3 and stuff, and we'll move on from there, so I can kind of prep myself for that. And we got to get the cord installed, and the bolts and knobs installed, and all that fun stuff still. So here we go.